Ever wake up from a dream and it just sticks with you? Like it was more than just a dream.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Today, we're diving into Neil Gaiman's The Sandman.
Cool.
It's this incredible graphic novel series, and we're using this academic analysis to help us unpack it.
Sounds fascinating.
It gets deep into dreams and what they mean, like what they say about us.
I'm intrigued. I've always found dreams so mysterious.
Yeah, and Gaiman doesn't treat them lightly, like, oh, it's just a dream. He makes a whole world out of them.
Right, the dreaming.
Exactly, the dream is...
And in this world, in the dreaming, dreams actually create things.
So it's not just like artists finding inspiration in dreams. You're saying dreams are like the fuel for everything creative.
Yeah, think of it like this. Remember the muses in Greek mythology?
Yeah.
The ones who inspired artists?
Yeah, vaguely.
Well, the Sandman takes that idea and runs with it.
Okay.
There's this character, Calliope. She's a muse, and she's actually imprisoned for her power.
For her creative power.
Exactly. And her captor, this writer, he wants to use her to be successful.
That's kind of dark, isn't it?
It is. It raises all these questions about what we're willing to do for inspiration.
Right. Like, can you even own inspiration? Can you buy it, sell it?
And is there a price to pay for that?
Ethically.
All of these questions run through the Sandman.
Wow.
And Gaiman doesn't give you easy answers.
I bet.
He wants you to think about how we treat the things that inspire us. The balance between respecting them and using them.
That's fascinating.
Like, maybe real creativity comes from working with the dreaming, not forcing it.
So this dreaming, this world, how does it connect to our own dreams, the ones we had at night?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The dreaming isn't just some fantasy land.
Okay.
It's like a reflection of all of us, like a mirror of humanity's thoughts and fears.
Oh, wow, I see.
All those little anxieties we have, the things we want, the things we're afraid of, they all feed into this one big dream world.
So our personal dreams, they're not just random, they're like pieces of a bigger puzzle.
Exactly. And get this, when Dream, the ruler of the dreaming...
He's also called Morpheus, right?
Yeah, Morpheus, when he gets captured, it messes everything up.
Like in the dreaming?
In the dreaming in the real world.
Whoa, how?
People can't sleep, their dreams go haywire.
Yeah.
It's like this unsettling feeling just takes over.
It's like cutting us off from something vital, like our connection to dreaming is broken.
Right, and Gaiman is showing us that dreams are a part of us. They're not just illusions we can ignore.
And when we do ignore them, there are consequences.
Exactly. It makes you think about how important dreams really are.
Yeah, like they're essential to who we are.
Individually and as a whole.
And then there are characters like Rose Walker and Barbie. They really show how dreams can be powerful, even help us.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
What can we learn from them and their experiences in the dreaming?
Well, Barbie, for example, she goes into her dream world.
Which is just as real as the waking world, right?
Totally. And in her dream world, she actually faces her fears head on.
Wow.
It becomes this space where she can deal with things, practice being brave.
Like using imagination to overcome challenges.
Exactly, like training for real life.
I like that.
And then there's Rose Walker. Her connection to the dreaming is much more intense.
A little powerful.
Yeah, she becomes this dream vortex.
Oh, what?
A dream vortex is like being a focal point for all this dream energy.
Sounds dangerous.
It can be. It could destroy reality, but it's also incredibly powerful.
So it's like our deepest desires and fears, but amplified.
Exactly. And Rose has to learn to control it.
Navigate that fine line between creation and destruction.
Right. Her story shows how powerful dreams can be and how much responsibility comes with that power. Yeah, it's like even in our dreams, we're not really alone,
We're all connected.
And that connection, it goes for the dark stuff too, the nightmares.
Oh, right. Like the Corinthian.
Exactly. He's like a dream gone wrong.
But why focus on the scary stuff? What's the point of nightmares in the Sandman?
Well, think about it. Nightmares make us face our fears.
The things we try to hide from.
Yeah, and it's scary, but sometimes facing that darkness, it helps us understand ourselves better.
So it's not about pretending they aren't there.
No, it's about figuring out what they're trying to tell us.
Like what they reveal about us.
And the Sandman suggests that facing those dark parts, it's actually how we grow, become who we're supposed to be.
Even Morpheus, he has to deal with nightmares too.
Yeah, even the Lord of Dreams has to balance things out, make sure nightmares have their place, but don't go too far.
Like a gardener tending to both the beautiful and the dangerous plants.
Exactly. You can't just get rid of the thorns. They're part of the ecosystem too.
It's like Gaiman is saying that good and bad, light and dark, they're always connected.
And maybe trying to get rid of the bad just makes it stronger.
But facing it, even if it's hard, that's how we find balance.
That's a really insightful point.
And the Sandman doesn't just deal with dreams, it also has these really complex family relationships.
Like Morpheus and his siblings. The endless.
Death, desire, destiny, despair, they're all there.
Yeah, and it's like watching a family drama play out, but with these cosmic forces.
Through death, she's not this scary figure.
No, she's actually kind of comforting, helping people move on.
And she seems close to Morpheus.
Yeah, they have this understanding. It's like Gaiman is making even death feel human.
Like we're all in this together, dealing with these big concepts.
And one way we deal with them is through stories.
We've talked about dreams as stories, but there's more to it, right?
Yeah, the Sandman shows how stories can change things, give people hope, even change history.
So it's not just about reading or hearing stories.
It's about recognizing their power, how they shape our thoughts and actions.
And that makes me think about the responsibility we have.
As readers and as creators.
Because the stories we tell, they have an impact.
On ourselves and on everyone around us.
And The Sandman is a perfect example of how stories can make us think differently, question things.
And even become more understanding and compassionate.
Wow, this has been quite a deep dive. We've covered so much.
Dreams, nightmares, family, the power of stories.
It's like peeling back the layers of what it means to be human.
All the things that make us who we are.
And yet, I feel like we've only scratched the surface of The Sandman.
It's a really rich work with so much to explore and discover.
I know, right? It's amazing how much there is to unpack in The Sandman.
It really speaks to Gaiman's skill as a writer.
Yeah, this world he created, it just keeps giving.
It's so intricate and full of meaning, it stays with you.
For our listeners who might be feeling a little lost, any advice for approaching The Sandman?
I'd say just be curious, Don't overthink it.
Like, don't worry about catching every little detail.
Exactly. Just let the story wash over you.
Like a dream.
Yeah, let yourself get swept up in the dreaming.
And just like dreams, there aren't always clear answers in The Sandman.
Right. It's okay to embrace the mystery.
Figure things out as you go.
And that brings us back to something we talked about earlier, the power of stories.
The Sandman isn't just telling a story, it's making us think about what stories are.
And how they work.
It blurs the lines between fiction and reality, between dreams and waking life.
And it reminds us that we're all storytellers in our own way.
The stories we tell ourselves, the ones we believe, they shape our world.
And that's a big responsibility.
To be mindful of the stories we tell and how they affect others.
Maybe by exploring stories like The Sandman, we can become better storytellers ourselves.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've gone from dreams to nightmares to family to the impact of stories.
We've seen how light and darkness are connected, how we're all connected.
And how dreams and imagination can change us.
So as we leave The Sandman and come back to reality, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
Ooh, good question.
I want them to remember that the magic of stories, it's not just in books or comics, it's inside all of us.
We all have that power.
So embrace the mystery, explore your imagination, and never forget how powerful a good story can be.
That's a great takeaway. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into The Sandman.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, as you journey through the dreaming, remember, the story never really ends. It lives on in you.